I ran off and got married without telling my family after they basically told me to put my whole life on pause so my older brother could maybe, possibly, someday figure his out. I am a 27-year-old woman, and my now husband, Michael, is 29. We have been together for about 7 years, engaged for the last 3, and we finally got married a couple of weekends ago. It should have been simple and joyful, but there is a big pile of family drama behind it, and I am still untangling how I feel. I am the younger of 2 kids. My brother, Jason, who is 32, has always been the golden boy. Growing up, he was the star athlete, the one coaches and teachers raved about. He got a spot at a fancy private university out east with a partial scholarship, and everyone in the family just assumed he was going to be some big shot one day. The problem is that after he graduated around 9 years ago, life never actually took off the way everyone expected. He has been in this endless, finding himself phase. He has bounced through maybe 7 different jobs, never lasting more than a year at any of them, moved back in with my parents multiple times, and is always talking about some huge plan that is going to change everything. There is always something on the horizon, a new startup idea, a total career pivot, some big certificate, or going back to school for a Master of Business Administration. But nothing ever seems to make it past the talking stage. Meanwhile, my path has been a lot less glamorous, but a lot more straightforward. I went to a regular state university, got my degree in accounting, and landed a solid job at a decent firm not long after I graduated. I have just been slowly building my career, nothing flashy, just steady. I met Michael during my last year of college, when he was just starting his graduate program. We clicked right away. After about 3 years of dating, we moved in together. By the time we had been together for roughly 5 years, he proposed, and we were so excited to finally start planning a wedding and a life together. Everything felt like it was moving along naturally until we actually started talking details about the wedding. That is when things got weird. My parents asked me to come over because they wanted to have a serious talk. We sat down at the kitchen table, and they dropped what felt like a bomb on me. They said I needed to push back my wedding for at least 9 to 11 years. I honestly thought they were joking at first. I laughed. I was waiting for the punchline. But they were totally serious. Their reasoning? Jason is still in a delicate stage of his journey. Apparently, he has something big right around the corner, but when I asked what that actually meant, they got super vague. They mentioned maybe a business he might start or going back to school, but it was obvious they did not really know. They just repeated that it would look bad if the younger sister got married before the older brother, and they were worried it would hurt his confidence and distract him. They kept talking about the natural order of things and how, as his little sister, I needed to support him by waiting. I reminded them that Jason is in his 30s, not a confused teenager. I also told them Michael and I had already been planning for months. We had been saving up money, looking at venues, and thinking about a date sometime next fall. Instead of understanding, they doubled down. They said, family comes first, and that my role right now is to be patient and not get in the way of Jason's success. I tried so hard to reason with them. I reminded them that Michael and I had been together for about 7 years, and that a wedding is supposed to be about our relationship, not about my brother's inability to get his life on track. They did not care. They started calling me selfish and insensitive for not centering everything around Jason's feelings. At one point, my mom brought up how they helped pay for my college and implied that meant I owed them, and by extension Jason, this sacrifice. Yes, they did help me with school, and I am grateful. But I have been paying my own way since graduation. I have not asked them for money or help in years. When I told Michael what they had said, he was livid. He has always tried to be respectful with my family, but this was too much. He said there was no way we should put our future on hold just because my brother lives in a permanent, maybe someday bubble. After several heated talks with my parents that went nowhere, Michael and I made a huge decision. We were going to move forward with our wedding exactly how we wanted, and we were not going to tell my family. We planned everything quietly. It took work, but it was worth it. We chose a small, pretty garden venue just outside of town, invited our closest friends, Michael's family, who were completely on board, and my best friend from college as my maid of honor. That was it. The day itself was exactly what we needed. It was small, calm, and full of love. We wrote our own vows, had a nice dinner afterward, and spent the evening celebrating with people who actually support us. For the first time in a long time, I did not feel crushed by my family's expectations. I felt like my life belonged to me. Of course, it could not stay secret forever. A friend posted pictures on social media and tagged us. That was all it took. My phone blew up. Missed calls, texts, notifications everywhere. My parents were furious. My mom sent me this long text basically calling me a traitor to the family and saying I had humiliated them. She said I had ruined Jason's chances, still no idea how my wedding does that, and that I had destroyed their trust. Jason, as usual, slipped right into the victim role. He said my getting married set back all his progress, and that if I really loved him, I would have waited until he was more established. Even some aunts, uncles, and cousins jumped in, telling me I should have followed my parents' wishes, and that I was selfish for not thinking about Jason's feelings first. It has been a lot to carry. I stand by our decision, though. That day was our wedding. It was about me and Michael. We are not responsible for Jason's choices or for the way my parents treat him. Still, this whole thing has opened my eyes. I always knew there was favoritism, but I do not think I fully understood how deep the dysfunction went until now. Michael's family, in contrast, has been incredible. They told us they were proud of us for drawing a line and that they would not let my family's behavior ruin our happiness. My friends have also been amazing, reminding me that my parents' demands were unreasonable and that I had every right to go ahead with the wedding. Even with all that support, I am still a mix of emotions. I am thrilled to be married to Michael, but I am also grieving the relationship I thought I had with my parents. I have tried to explain things to them, but they refuse to hear it. They keep insisting they are just trying to support both their children equally. That is not what it feels like. It feels like I am always the one who is supposed to step aside so Jason does not have to face his own life. And I am exhausted. Part of me wants to cut them off, block their numbers, and just live peacefully with Michael. Another part of me still hopes they will eventually realize how unfair they have been. I am not counting on it, though. For now, I am focusing on the good. I married the man I love, I have a strong support system in his family and my friends, and for the first time, I am truly standing up for myself after years of living in my brother's shadow. It is bittersweet, but it is still a win. I keep thinking about what this will mean for my relationship with my family in the long run, but I know one thing for sure. I could not put my life on hold for nearly a decade just because my brother refuses to pick a direction. So, internet strangers, am I being unreasonable? Should I have waited like they asked, or was it right to finally choose my own happiness? First, I really want to say thank you for all the support and reassurance I have gotten. Reading through people's responses honestly shifted something in me. It made me see just how outrageous my parents' expectations were. These last several days have been an emotional roller coaster. I have felt relief, sadness, anger, guilt, pretty much everything at once. But underneath all of that, I feel more sure that Michael and I made the right call. Things, however, have escalated. Yesterday, my mom called me. For the first time in my life, I did not fold. I held my ground. The call started tense. She asked if I had come to my senses and if I was ready to make things right with the family. Her tone had that classic mix of guilt trip and moral high ground. I took a deep breath and told her, calmly but firmly, that I do love my family, but my marriage to Michael is not about Jason or anybody else. I said I was not going to apologize for living my life. I reminded her that Michael and I have been together for about 7 years, and that we deserve to celebrate our relationship without everything being filtered through Jason's issues. She immediately started crying. She said I did not understand how hard everything has been for Jason. Watching his baby sister succeed while he is still lost has been devastating for him. Then she told me something she had never shared before. Jason has been struggling with depression. That hit hard. Depression is serious. I have seen friends go through it, and I would never want to downplay that. But I told her that holding everyone else back is not the answer. Telling me to sacrifice my future is not supporting him. It is just reinforcing this idea that the whole world revolves around him. That is not healthy for anyone. I told her I am willing to support Jason in realistic, appropriate ways, listening, encouraging him to get help, that kind of thing. But giving up my happiness is not on the table. She went very quiet. Then she just hung up. Not long after that, my dad texted me. It was short, but it stung. He called me heartless and said they had raised me better. He accused me of being selfish and ungrateful and said I was choosing a man over my family. I will not pretend that did not hurt. I have always tried to be the easy child, the one who does not cause trouble. Being painted as some cold, selfish person by my own father was rough. Michael was furious when he read it. He has been telling me not to respond, saying all it will do is keep the drama going. He is probably right, but part of me still wants to defend myself. Then something unexpected happened. My mom's sister, my Aunt Linda, reached out privately. She has always been more level-headed, someone I could talk to about things I could not say directly to my parents. She said she has been watching everything unfold and wanted to give me some context. According to her, that big thing my parents hinted at for Jason is not about a business or a degree at all. It is about a proposal. Jason is planning to propose to his girlfriend, Hannah, who he has been with for about 4 months. My parents know about it and are hyping it up like this massive turning point. They honestly seem convinced that getting married will magically make him grounded and motivated. The twist? Hannah has no clue. None. In fact, Aunt Linda told me that Hannah has been confiding in her about serious doubts. She is thinking about ending the relationship because she is worried about Jason's lack of direction and his habit of making big promises he never follows through on. My aunt said she tried to warn my parents that pushing Jason to propose might blow up in their faces. She told them there is a real chance Hannah might not say yes, especially given how she is feeling. But, as usual, they ignored her. They are clinging to this proposal idea like it is the miracle answer to everything. I feel awful for Hannah. She has only been with Jason a few months and is already questioning whether this is sustainable. The idea that my parents are treating her like some sort of stabilizing tool instead of a person with her own life is really unsettling. Marriage is not a quick fix for deep personal problems. If anything, it usually magnifies them. It is also painfully clear that my parents' obsession with Jason's success has completely warped their judgment. They are so desperate to see him become the person they imagined that they will latch onto any hope, no matter how unrealistic it is. Michael and I have been talking about our next steps. He suggested that we pull back for a while and let my family sit with things. Honestly, that sounds healthy. I have already muted a bunch of their messages and taken a break from social media because the constant guilt and pressure is just draining. Aunt Linda thinks I should stay firm, but keep the door cracked open, just in case my parents eventually come around. I am torn. I do not want to cut them off completely, but I am tired of living in second place to Jason's chaos. The bright spot through all of this has been Michael's family. They have wrapped us up with support. His mom invited us over for dinner, and it felt so good to be around people who just want us to be happy, no strings attached. It reminded me that family is not only about blood. It is about who actually shows up for you. As for Jason, I am conflicted. I feel for him. If he really is dealing with depression, that is serious, and I do not want to be cruel. But I also do not want to keep feeding into this pattern where everyone bends over backwards for him, and he never has to grow up. For now, I am putting my energy into my marriage and our new life. Michael and I are planning a quick weekend trip out of town to relax and enjoy being newlyweds without all the noise. I hope that, with time, my parents can understand that this is not about choosing sides or not loving them. It is about finally choosing myself too. And I have to admit, it feels strangely good to do that. Things took another turn I definitely was not expecting. Hannah, my brother's girlfriend, messaged me on social media a few days ago. She started by congratulating me on the wedding, which was kind and surprising, given everything going on. Then she said she really needed someone to talk to about Jason. We have only met a handful of times, and we are not close, so I was not sure what to think at first. But she sounded genuinely upset, so I agreed to meet her for coffee. As soon as we sat down, she opened up. She did not hold back at all. She confirmed what my aunt had already told me. She is planning to break up with Jason. She said she is deeply worried about his complete lack of direction. He will not commit to a career path. He dodges responsibility. She said she feels more like his caretaker than his partner, and that she is just emotionally worn out. What stood out to me was how unaware Jason seems to be. Hannah said every time she tries to talk about their future, he either brushes her off with jokes or accuses her of not believing in him. She has been bending over backwards to support him, suggesting options, trying to help him organize his life, and he twists it into criticism. Hannah is very put together. She has a stable job, she is successful, and she clearly has a good head on her shoulders. But according to her, Jason does not seem to take her seriously when it comes to advice or boundaries. She told me about a time she offered to help him update his resume and practice for an interview. Instead of appreciating it, he laughed and said he did not need help because he was waiting for something better to come along. Another time, she suggested a course that would help him develop skills for the field he claimed he was interested in. He dismissed it as a waste of time and said he would figure things out his own way. She said it feels like he does not see her as a real partner, more like someone who is there to keep him comfortable while he does nothing. Then she started talking about my parents, and that part honestly broke my heart. Apparently, they have been putting a ton of pressure on her. They keep telling her that she is the one who can help Jason reach his potential. They have been promising to support both of them financially while he gets on track. My mom even told her that she would be perfect for Jason because she is so stable and hardworking, as if that is her job in the relationship. Hannah said that all this pressure from my parents is one of the main reasons she is done. She feels like they care more about propping Jason up than about her feelings. And honestly, I cannot blame her. That would wear anyone down. As she kept talking, I realized things were even worse than I thought. I knew my parents were enabling Jason, but I did not realize the full extent. Hannah told me they have been paying off his credit card bills and giving him money for networking events, which are apparently just nights out drinking with his friends. They have also been talking about helping him start a business using money from their retirement savings. They are just waiting for him to find the right opportunity, which, in reality, means they are ready to keep financing his lifestyle with nothing concrete lined up. My stomach dropped hearing all of that. I knew it was bad, but I did not know it was this bad. I felt so sorry for Hannah. It is obvious she has been trying so hard to make it work, but the weight of Jason plus my parents plus all those expectations has been crushing her. She is a kind, smart woman who deserves an equal partner, not a long-term project. Before we left, she thanked me for just listening. She said it felt good to finally say everything out loud to someone who gets the family dynamic. I told her that I am here for her if she ever needs anything, and I truly meant it. Whatever happens between her and Jason, she does not deserve to go through this alone. After that conversation, I knew I could not just sit with all of this. So I wrote my parents an email. I laid everything out, how much stress they have put on Hannah, how their promises and pressure are affecting the relationship, how their constant rescuing is holding Jason back instead of helping him. I told them that I love them and I love my brother, but the way they have been acting is harming everyone involved, including themselves. I pointed out that paying his bills, using their retirement money, and trying to recruit women to fix him is preventing him from ever learning to stand on his own 2 feet. I tried to be constructive. I suggested family therapy and attached some resources about enabling and healthy boundaries. I made it clear that I was not trying to attack them. I was trying to offer a way forward where everyone could be healthier. So far, I have not heard anything back. I am not shocked. I imagine they are angry or just not ready to face it, but it still hurts. I keep hoping they will at least read the whole thing and maybe let it sink in. Michael told me he is proud of me for saying something, even though it was really hard. He has been encouraging me to put clear boundaries in place if my parents refuse to change anything. I know he is right, but the idea of that is still painful. I truly believe my parents love us. They just love Jason in this very unbalanced way that blinds them. They are so desperate for him to become this success story that they cannot see they are actually making it harder for him. For now, I am trying to live my own life. Michael and I finally booked that weekend away we have been talking about forever, and I am honestly counting down the days. After all this, I need time to breathe and just enjoy being married. These past weeks have been overwhelming, but they have also taught me something. I am allowed to put my happiness, my marriage, and my future first. I can care about my family without sacrificing myself for them. I truly hope Jason finds his footing someday, but I have realized that putting my life on pause will not make that happen. And when it comes to my parents, I will give them time to process everything, but I am done twisting myself into knots to keep them comfortable. It is time for every person in this family to own their own choices. Thank you again to everyone who has encouraged me through all of this. Your words have helped me feel less alone and reminded me I am not crazy for setting boundaries. A lot has happened in just a few days, and I am still trying to catch up emotionally. First big thing, Hannah and Jason are officially done. She ended the relationship, and it was not pretty. Jason completely lost it. I mean, full-on meltdown. He showed up at our apartment at around 2 o'clock in the morning, drunk and pounding on the door, yelling my name. It was honestly scary. Michael answered the door, and Jason stumbled in, ranting about how I had ruined his life. He said that if I had just waited to get married, none of this would have happened, and Hannah would still be with him. The level of denial and blame was unreal. Michael stayed calm, thank goodness. He tried talking Jason down for a long time, but it was going nowhere, so he finally called a ride for him and made sure he got back to my parents' house. Even after Jason left, I was shaken. I barely slept, just lying there wondering how things spiraled this far. The next day, my parents called and said they wanted a family meeting to clear the air and figure out how to move forward. Michael and I agreed to go, but I told them straight out that my marriage was not up for debate. We could talk, but only if they respected our boundaries. They said they understood, so we went over. Jason did not show up. Apparently, he was too hungover. So it was just me, Michael, and my parents. Things got intense pretty quickly. My mom started crying and said she feels like she is losing both of her children. That was hard to hear, even with everything that has happened. My dad tried to act composed, but eventually he cracked a little. He admitted they have been terrified that Jason will never pull himself together. He said that seeing me do well makes Jason look worse by comparison, and that has been hard for them. It was a messed up thing to hear, but it also explained a lot. Michael and I let them talk, then I laid everything out as clearly as I could. I told them that their constant rescuing and prioritizing Jason over everyone else is not helping him, and it has created this toxic family pattern. I brought up the money, the credit cards, the retirement fund, the pressure on Hannah, all of it. I told them I love them and I love Jason, but I am done letting their dysfunction dictate my life. The conversation did not magically fix everything, but there was at least some movement. They actually admitted that asking me to postpone my wedding was wrong. They apologized for how they handled it and said they do understand now why Michael and I decided to go ahead without them. That meant a lot. They are still clearly hurt about missing the wedding, and I do not think they fully grasp how deep the damage runs, but it is something. The other promising thing is that they agreed they have to stop bailing Jason out. They even brought up the idea of him going to therapy themselves. I will believe the follow-through when I see it, but it is more than they have ever said before. So that is where things stand right now. There is still a lot of hurt, but there is also a tiny bit of hope. As for me and Michael, we decided that putting some distance between us and the drama is the healthiest move. We finally booked a 3-week honeymoon we had postponed before, and I think having that space will be good for everyone. My parents offered to host a small family get-together to celebrate our marriage when we get back. I told them that we will think about it after our trip, and that if we agree, it will be fully on our terms. If anyone reading this is dealing with similar family stuff, I just want to say this. You are allowed to live your own life. You can love your family and still set boundaries. You do not have to sacrifice your future so someone else does not feel uncomfortable. Sometimes choosing yourself means making really hard choices, and that is okay. To everyone who has followed this whole saga and shared advice or encouragement, thank you. You have helped me feel less alone and more confident that I am not wrong for wanting a healthy, peaceful life. For now, I am focusing on my marriage, my happiness, and the future Michael and I are building together. If something major happens, maybe I will share another update someday, but this is where things are for now. Take care of yourselves, and do not be afraid to put your own name on the list of people you care about.